Earthquake. First of all, Miss Slay is a successful author. She has produced lots of novels, of books, of short stories even. She is internationally well known. She has received multiple awards for her work, and her books have been adapted into a Netflix show. So she has that going on for her. Meanwhile, me, I'm right here speaking into the void, making videos that have no value, hoping that people will find them and watch them and actually appreciate them. They probably don't. So that's the score. Now that we get that out of the way, hi. So I DNF 6 of Crows. Is that controversial? Kinda, because this book is popular. So if you don't know this book, if you don't know Six of Crows, tell me which cave have you been living in, and please, can I move in with you? I started reading this last month. I don't have a physical copy because I'm broke, and digital copies are cheaper, so... And what's interesting is that I actually forced myself to finish the Shadow and Bone trilogy before I could allow myself to read this book finally. Yeah, I guess I'm here to talk about why I DNF Six of Crows. If you don't know what DNF means, I wonder why you clicked on this video. But it means DNF as in did not finish.
That's what she said.
So my first problem with this book, I think it was boring. Well, okay, that's not fair because a lot of things happened and it's quite action-packed compared to other YA books that I've read. But I don't know, the opening, the first chapter, which is from the POV of Juice. Yeah, whoever, rest in peace. Oop. Spoiler. So that chapter, that first chapter, it reminded me of an opening scene of an episode of Supernatural where there's an irrelevant character who will probably be dead a minute later. I'm in the habit of skipping those scenes because I want to know the mystery from Sam and Dean's point of view. But with this book, I didn't do that because, well, you know, maybe this is worth a try. Maybe this style works on books. It did and it didn't. I don't know. I think it's just personal choice. I don't see what's wrong with it. I just... Okay, take back what I said. I don't think this book is necessarily objectively boring, but I think the writing style did not speak to me. What do I mean by the writing style? Okay, I'm gonna expand on that. Expand? Whatever, you get it. So there are scenes where something action-packed is happening. And then in the middle, there are going to be flashbacks about the character. And I just don't understand why there's the need to do that. I mean, I get it. It's creative exposition, but it just didn't work for me. I feel like I got tired of switching back and forth, switching between scenes of the present and the past. It just didn't work for me. It got exhausting. Consequently, I got bored. The writing style just didn't work for me in this one. Secondly, the age. Like, there are 6 main characters in this book, hence Six of Crows, and the eldest character is 18 years old, and they're supposed to be the best of the best. They're supposed to be notorious for things they are experts in. How am I supposed to believe that? I mean, just, you're telling me that a 17-year-old has that amount of infamy, has that kind of reputation. Girly, could you steal at 17 years old? Hell yes.
I like stealing. It makes my hair go fast.
Could you form a club at 17 years old? Sure. Younger people form clubs all the time. Could you run a club at 17? Okay, fine, yes. If you're good with economics and business and shit, sure, go do your thing, go run your club. But am I supposed to buy that you, as a 17-year-old, is the master of the gangster, the king of gangstery, king of crime boss? Okay, technically he's a lieutenant. I read that somewhere. I'm not sure where. Not the major or general commander of the top, whatever hierarchy those crime bosses have. But when I was reading the book, I was actually impressed that, wow, okay, Kaz is actually smart, probably even smarter than in the show. And then I read the part that he's actually 17 years old, and I'm like, Miss Girly, have you ever met a 17-year-old? I don't care how much trauma this guy has. No, that's too much suspension of my disbelief. You're already asking me to believe that this is a magical world where people are capable of doing magical things. There are airbenders, there are firebenders, there are waterbenders, there's fucking Avatar. Okay, fine, that's understandable. But why do these characters have to be fucking teenagers? Like, I get that this is literally YA, young adult, but like, was it not possible that at least one of them could be an experienced, old, and wiser character where this old guy, this old man probably, they coach these young kids, which is why they're as good as they are right now. Yeah, I could buy that. But all of them, every single one of them, literal babies, literal teenagers. I'm turning 23 in 3 days. And when I see 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, I think nursery, kindergarten, literal babies, infant child, Jesus Christ. You know how when you're a freshman in high school or in college even, you think, oh, I'm so cool. I'm going to be that one of the cool kids. I'm going to try to be a cool girl. And then when you turn into a senior, when you become a senior and you meet the freshmen, you're like, oh my God, these are literal babies. They're literally infants. Stay away from me. Miss Girly, have you never felt that way before? If you say no, you're lying. Okay, maybe that was too harsh. But come on. Like, also, who would hire a bunch of teenagers to do something to pull off probably the most impossible heist in the history of Ketterdam or the Ice Court? Like, seriously, who in their right minds would hire a bunch of teenagers? If Kaz is the lieutenant, then someone else is likely more capable than him. Let's assume that. Why didn't they go to them? Why didn't they go to that leader instead? Like, I was fine with the events before I found out that they were actual teenagers. So yeah, that ruined the experience for me. I was like, oh no. The show did a good job of hiring older people. Oh, I say old like that's a bad thing. I mean, people in their 20s. They made a smart decision to do that, to age up the characters from the book. Because when you start looking at it physically, when you start visualizing it, it looks stupid. It's cringe. Like, if you've ever met a 17-year-old before, fucking cringe. It just doesn't work. But yeah, I understand why the author felt the need to do that. I get why. This is YA. This is supposed to call to actual teenagers so that they can have something to relate to. Yeah, I get that. I just find it difficult to believe. Okay, I can buy that girl boss Inej has those skills. She is acrobatic, right? Because her entire family are literally acrobats. And she started training since she was a child. Okay, but to be a fucking amazing spy 1 year later, you didn't even have a coach. Like, you didn't have a proper training. You didn't have a proper education in spy. The word that you're looking for is espionage, you dumb bitch. Spy school. You didn't even go to formal spy school. How? And even if we take away all of those experiences, take away all of their skills, okay, they just don't sound like teenagers to me. They have the maturity level of 20-something-year-olds. That is the actual vibe that I got. Because see, in other YA, actually I could argue the same with Shadow and Bone, but that's another kind of worms for another day. I just can't. I can't. No, I can't. Okay, their relationships. So this is YA, and the focus is not on romance, but there is romance. I don't think it's possible for any YA fantasy to have not even a sliver of romantic relationship in it. And okay, that's fine. But see, like I said earlier, there are 6 main characters. Of those 6 characters, there are 3 ships. Have you ever met a group of friends where everyone is a couple? Okay, I have. But I just like, I just feel like Kanej, yeah, I get why it's written that way. I have no complaints about Kanej. I'm fine with that. Jasper and what's his name? To be fair, I didn't finish the whole thing, so I didn't know if it developed into something more, or if their story or their relationship was given justice. Nina and Matthias. Girly. I don't even know. Let's say that the ships are fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's alright. I just I feel like the platonic relationships within that group is not as strong as it's supposed to be. Here's why. The Kaz and Jasper dynamic, I get that Kaz is distant. I just don't feel that they have that kind of bond, you know? Okay, I misspoke here. I meant to say that I didn't feel their chemistry as friends, especially versus in the show. Maybe this is because I watched the show before I read the book, so I had a certain expectation set, and maybe those expectations were not met while reading the book. So that's on me. Chemistry was the word I was looking for. Oh my god, I'm such a dumb bitch. I don't feel like that their bond was justified. We're just supposed to believe that they're tight, they're family-like. We're just supposed to believe that. Give me the dynamics. Give them more time together. Also with Inej and Jasper. Yeah, I need more. I need to have more of that platonic relationship from them, between the characters. But to be fair, again, I didn't finish the book, so maybe it developed later on, but I didn't get that from what I've read, so yeah, it didn't work for me. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I really tried to like this book as much as other people did because of the hype, especially. I can see that the fandom, they're tight. That's actually the core reason why I read this book, why I tried to be into it, but it just didn't deliver for me. Okay, see, I had just finished Ruin and Rising before I started this book. And that book was an easy read for me because, okay, this is the final thing. Wrap things up, okay. And then I tried reading this first before I get into Six of Crows. This is Evangeline and Other Poems by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And I have to say, it was boring. In the sense that I have just read Ruin and Rising. I had just read a young adult fantasy full of adventure. And then I'm jumping into poetry, into classic poetry. And yeah, the mood is off. So I decided to read Six of Crows. And so I read this thing, and it ended up actually being more tiresome. And that just made me finish this whole thing in a matter of hours, which is a record for me because poetry, when I read poetry, I take my time. Like, I just take my time. I savor every second, every minute of reading poetry. So that told me, okay, maybe there was something wrong with my head at the time. But reading this book made me turn to classic poetry instead and take what you will from that information. Okay, I do have a list of things I like. I like the concept of Yurda Parem. Yurda Parem? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Please don't come for me for mispronouncing that. Yeah, I like the concept. It's a pretty interesting thing to be made into a conflict. It was interesting. I like the Jordy and Kaz part. So Jordy is Kaz's older brother. I like that part. It actually kind of made me cry. That's something. That's one of the realistic things that actually happened in the book that I actually believed, that actually touched me, that made me cry. I like that Nina likes mood. That's me. That's me. She is me. I am her, Miss Girly. Right now, that's all I could think about the things I like. So what does this say about Lay, Miss Lay? Do I hate Lay? No, I don't. I think she is a good author. Personally, this is just a personal opinion. Her writing style is just not my cup of tea. I'm not actually very interested with the world with Ravka and Ketterdam and the entire world. Say it with me. Grishaverse. Oh, I wasn't really interested, but it works. It's fine. I have to say, though, that I think this book, Six of Crows, is significantly better than Shadow and Bone. And I read all 3 books of the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Am I going to read King of Scars? Probably, because the only thing that I actually love, that I actually really, really love about this entire world is Nikolai. Nikolai is the only reason I read through the second and the third book of the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Nikolai saved the day. Nikolai, that bastard. I fucking love Nikolai. I cannot wait to find out who is playing Nikolai in the show. Oh my god, I would fucking die for Nikolai. I don't even know what he looks like. Okay, so that's all I have right now. I don't think Lei is a bad author. This shouldn't discourage you from reading the book. But if you had the same experience as I did, well then take this as validation. You were not alone. Go read whatever you want to read. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you want more content like this, or let me know what book you want to hear from me. You want to hear my thoughts? So yeah, that's basically it. I'll see you next time, I guess. Okay, bye. Happy birthday, Taylor Swift.